Ford Maverick with a black top. Its license plate is 9K7755. Dorothy had 3 children at home, and so one of the children, Rick, has reached out to us and asked us to see if we could find his mother. And again, something to bring some closure to a family. And this 48 years she's been missing. Very clearly under this bridge.
Yeah, that is an old car. See that? So those are old metal chunks that the car has fallen apart. It's so old.
Here it is. All right. So here's that car. Now we may be able to identify what kind of car it is.
They were out drinking, and it was after a long night of drinking. They drove from North Station, from the north end where she was last seen at the penalty box. They drove from Boston to Brighton, where we lived, got into a big fight, and he decides to walk home. This is such a wild story. He decides to walk home from Brighton to Roslindale, which is probably a 7-mile distance. So you're going to walk home 7 miles after a night of drinking and hanging out at 3 in the morning or whatever it is, following him in her car, trying to hit him. And he was jumping on the sidewalks and having to run across streets and intersections and all these things. And about 5 miles later, he allegedly claimed the only way he escaped was climbing the fence of the Arboretum, which is like a park in Boston.
Desperately searching for her.
Dorothy Goroshko was last seen near the Old Boston Garden in tonight's New England's Unsolved. Bob Ward shows us why Dorothy's boyfriend still lives under a cloud of suspicion, even though he says he had nothing to do with it.
She has been lost since the mid-70s. Dorothy Goroshko, a 40-year-old single mother of 3, vanished one June night along with her 1970 Ford Maverick. She was last seen at the old Penalty Box Bar near Boston Garden. Police searched wooded areas and waterways of Boston, but never turned up a single clue to Dorothy's fate. Her disappearance, an unhealed wound for her 3 boys, left to raise themselves in the Brighton apartment they shared.
It's a void. It's an empty place to be, to not know.
She would not leave us on her own.
Sergeant Detective Bill Dugan with the Boston Police Cold Case Unit is leading the renewed push to find Dorothy.
I think she was killed. I think she's dead. Whitey Bulger couldn't stay hidden with all his money. She didn't have 2 nickels to her name.
And Sergeant Detective Dugan tells me he is taking a hard look at the man Dorothy Goroshko was dating when she disappeared.
If something bad happens to a woman, you gotta start looking at the people closest to her.
This is the man Dorothy Goroshko was seeing. John F. Bolton, a convicted felon who served time in Florida and Massachusetts.
He was a brutal, mean SOB.
When Dorothy vanished, John Boulton was serving time for a 1970 armed robbery conviction at MCI Norfolk and was on work release at Medfield State Hospital. Goroshko's sons say their mom would see him during prison furloughs.
He was around when he wasn't in jail.
I took a deeper look into Bolton's record. In 1966, Bolton was arrested for the murder of his then-wife's 2-year-old daughter in Marshfield. Bolton reportedly first told police the child was missing, but within weeks, the girl's mother told police John Boulton killed her. buried the body a few miles away. John Boulton was convicted of manslaughter. 9 years after Bolton said the little girl was missing, Dorothy Goroshko disappeared too. All of it enough for Boston police to take another look at Dorothy and John.
June 4th, 1975, Dorothy Goroshko went missing at the penalty box in the north end of Boston. She was never seen again. When Dorothy Goroshko went missing in 1975, she was 36 years old. It has been over 50 years. In this episode, we are going to be working from the Medfield State Hospital back towards Brighton. After doing research on this case, John had no vehicle. He was living with his mother in Roslindale. So did John drive that vehicle back to the hospital so that he could check in after he did whatever he did with Dorothy that evening? Something happened at either the Arboretum or on the way home from the penalty box. But no matter what, John was able to get back to the Medfield State Hospital somehow. And no one knows how he got there. Whether he drove a vehicle or got a ride with a friend, no one has ever been told how he got there. My assumption is that he might have driven Dorothy's Gold Maverick to Medfield State Hospital and dumped that vehicle in the Charles River or one of the lakes or ponds in that region. So that's why we're here. We are searching the Medfield State Hospital region, Walpole region, and see if we can find a clue or an answer of why that vehicle is nowhere to be found in Boston, nowhere to be found near the penalty box or in the Charles River there. Maybe it's closer to where his final destination was. So we're at the Charles River, and I just want to see what the depth is in here. You might be able to get a car down through here, but okay. Yeah, I've got 8 feet of depth. Again, I'm going to show you on the screen record, but that's what it looks like. Okay. Pretty clean bottom. Very sandy. 8 foot. Doesn't look like there's anything right here. Let me, I'm going to throw it to the left here. And this is what we're looking at here. So this is the Charles River, way out in Medfield, right near the state hospital. You know, I'm gonna look at the other side as well, see what's going on there. But I don't know if you can get up that or down that with a 70 Maverick back in the day, but we will see. So this bridge was here in 1963, and Dorothy Goroshko went missing in 1975. I don't know if you can get a car in here back in the day unless you dropped it down that embankment there. Or maybe you can come in from here. Back in the day. I just don't see you getting a car down the hill. I'm just looking from the standpoint, like, this guardrail is really old. It's been here for a long time. So, could you... That guardrail's been there since '63.
you can't get through it. So the only access point is right there. Welcome to the Charles River in Medfield, Mass, near the Medfield State Prison. Off to the Medfield State Hospital now. Dan down under and I will get in here. We're going to do the Charles River a little bit. It's a beautiful space. I want to check this section here. It's 8 feet to 10 feet deep. It's been here since '63. I just don't think you can get through here. This guardrail's new, that guardrail's new, but those have been there since '63. So that's Sherborne, and this is Medfield here. So let's see what we can find on the next location. Exploring with a Mission wants to thank Jared Lysick and Adventures with Purpose. They are a platinum sponsor of Exploring with a Mission for Dan and I. Jared made a donation from Adventures with Purpose, and I thank him from the bottom of my heart for supporting us, for keeping us on the road. So I'm on Bridge Street at the Charles River in Medfield, near the Medfield State Hospital. There is a parking lot with a ramp right there. I'm going to check the depth of the water here to see if something could be downstream in that corner over there where I'm pointing with a fishing rod, somewhere over there. It's possible there's something in here because of that little boat ramp right there. So let's check it out. So possibility is that you could literally drive it right into here, right off and right in, and there's a 10-foot hole there. This is where we'll start our search. Water's going that way. There's a little bit of an eddy. You put it in, it would be right there. It wouldn't be far. It'd be, right in there. Did John Boulton bring the Gold Maverick that Dorothy owned all the way to Medfield State Hospital and put it in the Charles River at the bridge, down the railroad tracks, down the dirt road that is to the north of the Medfield State entrance? Or did he bring it right on to the Medfield State campus at the hospital and bring it to the back gate, which, if you see in the distance, you see the Charles River is right behind the location. And could he have actually come down here and put the car in the water right here? If there was no gate at the time, or it wasn't being monitored, or he drove in with the car and no one really noticed it or paid attention to the fact that he drove in with a Gold Maverick, and the police never checked if he drove in with a Gold Maverick, could he have come in here, checked in the night, and then dumped the car here? And so that's the thought process that I have right now, is we have to clear this to create answers for John and for the brothers. We need to clear the Medfield State Hospital. And so I'm here to recon it, to figure out what it's going to take to get in here and fly the drone over the top of it, check out where they could have gone in, and then try to look at some historical mapping to see if there's something that leads us to, like, there, if there's a road over there that was there back in 1975. What I also learned was that he was actually incarcerated at the Massachusetts Correctional Institute, but he was on work release at Medfield State Hospital. So could he have put her actually at the Mass DOC, at Mass Correctional Institution, at the pond behind it? I'm going to get into the Charles River and sonar that entire section around the Medfield State Hospital in every nook and cranny that I can. And then I'm going to work my way towards the Neponset River, which is the next river up. And it's also very close to John's family home or mother's home in Roslindale, which I really believe that we're going to find cars in both rivers. Multiple cars have been found in the Charles River, both by AWP and other search teams. And the Neponset River is in a very congested area and an area that I believe that there's going to be stolen vehicles in. But is there a Gold Maverick at the bottom of the river in the Neponset River close to John's home? We are going to scour the area from Medfield State Hospital to Roslindale to Brighton up to Arlington, where they used to go during the summer and spend time at a lake in Arlington. So we're investigating this case until we find some clue. So John Boulton lived in the blue house back in the day in 68. So this is where you would have walked back to, right there. Right on the ball fields. Did John Boulton actually come back to here on June 4th? That night that Dorothy went missing? Or did he go somewhere else with the car? So I'm now going to head to the Arboretum. So John had to walk home, according to his story. He had to walk home from the Arboretum because she was going to try to chase him down with the car, and kept trying to chase him down. That he climbed the fence and he got into the Arboretum and said she was going to run him over with the car. And then he walked home 7 miles home that night after drinking all night at the penalty box with her. So the Sons don't think that that's true. I don't think that that's true. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the Arboretum now. and see if the story makes any logical sense. The other thing I see is that driving distance from the Arnold Arboretum is 3 minutes away. Walking distance, it says it's 0.9 miles from where we are, so it is only a mile away. Okay, another section. Again, not far from the location of the Medfield State Hospital. Oh, that's nasty. Dead beaver. Whatever, it's gross. Let's see how deep this is. So this is Monastery Road. Jamaica Pond, where we found 3 cars. One is right out there on the left. 2 are over there on the rocks over there. So this is the Neponset River, not far from Dorothy Goroshko's last known location in Roslindale near Roberts Street, or 68 Roberts, where John Boulton lived with his mother. So at one point we're going to do this as well. I'm going to do the entire Neponset River and search for cars. It's a very congested area, a lot of traffic coming over the Neponset River. Back in the 70s, it was a very different town, but cemetery right here on the top of the hill, and then the Neponset River here. It's just a location that I think I need to check because it's, you know, within, I think, 5 miles of the house. And again, it's the closest river other than the Charles River. So we need to check this too. Not sure if these stones were here back in the day, but I got a disc brakes and a pipe from a vehicle right there, and clear access directly down to the water from here. So we'll see. So I was looking across the water and I saw this. I wanted to see what it was because it's around the same time frame. Again, we're looking for a Maverick. Not sure if that's a Maverick rim, but I'll look and see. Has that style that's 1970s. So this is the Neponset River, and you know, these are all new fencing in here, and it definitely has the depth because that pier is very big and that depth is way below that. We're in Hyde Park. We're about 7 minutes from the house. So we're definitely gonna have to check this. Searching for Dorothy Goroshko in 2025, 50 years after she went missing. From Neponset River, Hyde Park, Massachusetts, we are exploring with a mission.